How's it going, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. We are going to be discussing offset or sight offset with weapon system and why it's so extremely important. One, we're going to discuss it, kind of the philosophy of it, if you don't know the details of it, and then we're going to actually do it and discuss how you can find your offset for any sighting system pretty much that you use. So I would recommend just staying around for the philosophy part, but if you don't want to do that, you can always skip ahead in the whole chapter system with YouTube. So myself, what I mean by this is what I normally run is the ACOG. So offset, what is offset? Offset is where you are looking compared to where the bullet exits the barrel and where it strikes. Now, if you have, say, a typical, 25 meter zero, 50 meter zero, 100 meter zero, that's all well and good, and at that distance, that's where your rounds should strike, depending on how you have your sight, or you sight it in your weapon system. But where it tends to get complicated is when you get closer in, as in like me to you, or maybe me to the window of my truck is in, 3 to 5 meters, even 10 or 15 meters, that offset starts to be very pronounced as the closer you get. So it starts to spread and spread and spread. So on a realistic mindset, if you're using this weapon system for home defense, what is the max distance you could potentially be shooting? Let's do long shot. What is the longest point, unrealistically, inside your home that you will take a shot from? Unrealistically. So that's like front door all the way down the hallway to the back of your house or something. What's the longest distance in your house? Think about it. What, maybe 15 meters? Cool. Now let's go realistic. Okay, you woke up, you come out of your bedroom, right? You're ready to go. What is the realistic distance that you'll be potentially shooting? 7 meters, maybe? And at 7 meters, if you have a 100 meter zero, it is going to be off. So if you want a precise shot placement, I'm going to demonstrate how if you decide to shoot at a specific location on somebody, your rounds are going to be going somewhere completely different where you didn't think they would be. Now I'm going to show you how to correct for that. So now this isn't just with the ACOG or let's say a red dot like this aim point. This is all weapon systems. Heck, this even incorporates the old M16 is because the sighting system is above the barrel where it strikes. Of course, that's where it's got to be. So it's interesting that not a lot of people talk about this very often, but it is very, very important. So we're going to get out here on the range and I'm going to demonstrate and we're going to shoot rounds. This doesn't take very many rounds at all. You can honestly do this drill and find your offset with 9 rounds of ammunition. That's less than a half a box of 5.56 or 2.23. And this could be used for other PCCs and stuff like that, but mainly we're going to be using 5.56 today. So let's dive into it. We're going to be starting off at the 25 meter mark and then we're going to work our way in. Now it's not necessary for you to do this. I'll explain up at the target. So let's go down there. All right, so we're down here at the target specifically. Now what you're gonna need, of course, is a Sharpie and a target. Now you could do this on an indoor or outdoor range. The indoor range, make sure your target is movable or you can move to your target or away from it. Mainly because we're gonna be shooting at 3, 5, 15, and 25 meters. Now 25 meters, just I kind of threw it in there just to show you the difference, but you can realistically do this at the 5 and 15. So honestly, you could do it with technically 6 rounds of ammunition if you really want to. Of course, the more the ammo or the more targets you put up, the more precise you can be. So what we're gonna do is start off 25 meter mark first, and then we are going to work our way in and we're going to see where those rounds are placed. Now, for this specific demonstration, I am using the ACOG, specifically the Chevron. So normally what they teach is at a 25 meter zero, which I have with this weapon system, is you have your chevron up top. Now the stick of the chevron that has all your, smaller increments of like going out to 3, 4, 5, 600 meters, stuff like that, we are taught to shoot at the tip of the stick, and that's what we're going to be doing. So you can zero for the tip of the chevron if you want, but that just depends on your zero. I'm going to be using the tip of the stick just because that's how I've been trained, that's how my on-duty weapon systems are, and that's how I like to have my personal or training weapons reflect. Now, red dots are also pretty decisive or very easy. You just stick the dot where you want it to go, and then you will see where those rounds go. So let's dive into it and let's start shooting, and you'll see what I mean. All right, so we're down here at the 25 meter mark. What I would recommend is attempting to go prone if you can. Isolate all those excess movements, a potential movement around your body, and you just want precise, specific shots on your target reasonably. Now, if you're at an indoor range, I understand you may not be able to go prone. Try to maybe use the sidewalls if they allow you to as extra stability. If not, you might just have to send it and just see where it's at. Now, super precise is better, but we're talking, you know, percentages here. So let's dive into it. Let's shoot 25 meters. I'm gonna go prone just because it's easier. Here we go. All right, let's move up. All right, 15 meter mark, same exact shot. All right, 5 meter mark, same drill. Move up to 3. And now to finish it up, we are at the 3 meter mark, same exact drill. All right, so we shot all those, so let's go ahead on in and I'm gonna start explaining. All right, so here's how I shot. Not that great, not that good, not that bad, just kind of in the middle, pretty much like everybody else. So as you can see, patterns are starting to arise. Now, they might be difficult for you to see. They could stand out very easily, but let's explain. Mine's 25 meter zero. So as you can see, all these are slightly left of the target. So that was just a sighting thing, which I needed to correct. But aside from left and right, vertically is what we are focusing on. So 25 meters, if you would take that and see where that is, the center is right about there. So it is a little low, but pretty much square on that. Now at that 25 meter mark, now as we bring it in and we go to the 15 meter mark, center of those shots are probably right about there, as you can see. You see how it moved down? That's because we are getting closer and closer, and the offset to the weapon system or the sight and where your bullet exits are starting to become more pronounced. As we move to the 5 meter mark, it gets even more and more. I stack 3 of those rounds pretty much on top of each other, but look how vastly different or further away that is from that shot. All the same aiming point with the same reticle. And then we get to the 3 and it's even lower. That's mainly because that's your offset. You just found what your offset is. So now if you can remember that, or say you write it down, you can compensate for that, especially when you're shooting indoors. Now, for some of you, you're like, okay, what does 3 inches really matter? Or 4 inches, you know, it could be even further here. What does that really matter? Well, if you're being a precise shooter, you want to know where your rounds are striking. Now imagine in a really tense situation, potentially a hostage situation, right? Your loved one or something is taking hostage and you have to make that precise shot. Now in law enforcement and military community, how I train, this is particularly how we train is for hostage shot. We shoot for the fatal T box and we do qualification. So if we shoot outside that box, we fail the qual, we're not certified on a certain weapon system. Kind of drastic, but in certain courses that you go to, you will be cut from the course if you cannot shoot accurately where those rounds are. So go back to that. So if you need to take a hostage shot on a loved one, right, on the bad guy behind that person, you want to know exactly where your rounds are going. So imagine if that individual's, like where you're aiming is up here, your rounds just went 4 inches low. What potentially could be 4 inches low? Your loved one. And that is the point of this. If we're going to be a shooter or be a tactician, you need to know your weapon system precisely, in and out, every single range exactly in. And this is a very easy drill or just target shooting opportunity to discover where your offset is. And like I said, the red dot is exactly the same way. The ACOG is of course magnified, and some people are like, oh, CQB, you can't do CQB very well with ACOG. Well, I'm here to prove to you that I just did, and I have for my entire career. I have done CQB work and qualified on particular shots like this that have to get within a specific box, on the move, inside a shoot house, with an ACOG 3 meters away. It is fully capable with the ACOG. Now, red dot is just easier. You have offset. The interesting thing about the ACOG, if you are one of my ACOG people, or just say BDC or a reticle of some sort inside of that, normally if you put the tip of the stick like I was talking about here, your rounds at the very base of that stick of the chevron, I'll throw it up here, normally impact below. At least you can kind of find out where it is. So as you're utilizing, use that BDC to assist you. The red dot's a little more difficult because you just got to memorize how far up, if you have the red dot here, how far up do you need to shoot? At least the ACOG gives you a little more ability to do that. So I just wanted to stress that, show you this is offset. As you can see, it slants downwards as it gets bigger. That's the whole point. If you want to be a precise shooter, a tactician, know your weapon system, you need to know this process. Go ahead and do whatever zero you want, minus 25 meter zero. If you do 100, it's going to be kind of the same aspect. You're just going to have to figure it out. So if you like this kind of stuff, want to see more, definitely like, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And if you like this kind of stuff, definitely consider Patreon. Patreon's there if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'm not too concerned. Keep enjoying the free content. It's out there, but Patreons tend to dive in there and they get more detail in time with me. They can message me directly. I talk to them. You know, I put behind the scenes stuff over there. We have Amazon store as well. So if you like some of the gear and some of the stuff, I get a few cents if you purchase it. It comes nothing out of your pocket. It just helps the channel so I can do more things like this and give you more videos. And if you want that, then consider it. If not, if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. Like I said, keep enjoying. Well, other than that, I'm going to go train more. I'm going to stop filming because filming takes up a lot of my time. But yeah, y'all have a great day.